Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Had to dash back from my mother's. For those of you who don't know, I've just come back to the country today. Flew in straight from Ghana. I've been there 6 days, I think. Feels like 2 weeks. The amount of running around I had to do. I'm just gonna pop my drink down. Ugh. Sorry for the short notice as well. If you don't know who I am, my name is David Daniels, aka The Shy Man, bringing you the weekly seeds of wisdom. I've got one person live with me, so we are good to go. Hopefully, many more will join. Yep, I've got three up. Brilliant, excellent. So, I was debating whether to bring this message to you today. I was actually debating what the message was going to be because, just to give you a bit of background, for those of you who don't know, my dad passed away November the 14th last year. It's been a challenge. It's been a what they call a kairos moment. Kairos means is when a moment in time when something stands still, and it's definitely been one for that. My dad wasn't around in my life. I've already done loads of videos about it before. If you want to check it out, check it out. So he wasn't around in my life, and so the passing by and whether deciding to go to the funeral or not has been a big thing in my life. Hey Jasmine, thanks for joining. Thank you for welcoming me back. Thank you for your messages while I was away. Jamie, if you're still on board, thank you for jumping on. So it's been a big thing for me. I decided to go to the funeral. I'm really glad I did. It was a massive experience. The customary, hey Denise, how are you? I'll be back at work soon. I'm back in the country, rest assured. I work with Denise for a few days. She's leaving me soon. She's leaving me to go up to bigger and better things. So yeah, it was just a massive experience being with my brothers and sisters, the whole funeral and everything like that. And but it's done now. That part of my life is like kind of ended. So my message today, I was wondering if I was going to bring you a message, and obviously what was I going to talk to you guys about. I wanted to mention the funeral in there. I'm not going to go into chapter and verse about it. Maybe that's for another time. But I was thinking about it, and then as I was having breakfast this morning in Liverpool Street Station, waiting for the train, the subject matter came to me, and it was about making a full start, and how that's tied into kind of my situation is like ever since I found out my dad died, and the time of it, not that it's ever great. Hey Jody, how you doing? Thanks for jumping on board. Not that it's ever great, but Christmas time was just a horrendous time in terms of I had to sort out a visa. I lost my passport for 2 weeks. I was running up and down London like a madman trying to sort things out. For those of you who don't know, I live in Ipswich and Suffolk, so that's not just around the corner. So the timing couldn't have been at a worse time, but it got done, it got sorted, everything went to plan, kind of, but everything went fine. And so for me, my 2017 starts right now. For up until the funeral, my life kind of like everyday life was put on hold. I've kind of used a motorway analogy before, like we're all in different lanes. Some of us are in a fast lane, some of us are in the middle of the lane coasting, some of us in a slow lane, but you can move into different lanes. But sometimes we need to go off at a service station, something happens in our life, and we just need to kind of we never stop in life. Life is always moving forward, but sometimes we need to take rest. We need to reflect. We need to kind of like go off to the service station. And that's what I felt like my life has been like since finding out my dad has died. I've still had to manage work, manage family, work commitments, all the rest of it. But until this funeral has come about and we put my dad to rest, I feel like I've been in that service station. I've got big plans, I've got big dreams this year, but it was all at the back of my mind. So now for me, it's roll on 2017. But there's some of you out there who have made New Year's resolutions. You've had massive intentions to do things, but sometimes perhaps it hasn't gone to plan so far. Perhaps you plan to go to the gym, or for whatever reason, it could be something like myself. Something massive has happened in your life, which just demands your focus, just demands your time, and it's not right or wrong. That's what it is. My dad dying, I had to focus on that, not just because he died, but because I had to travel 6.5 hours across the world. I had to think about things like malaria, jabs, all those things when you go abroad to a foreign country. I had to think of that on top of my dad grieving. So that had to be at the forefront of my mind. And as much as I try to do other stuff, this was at the forefront of my mind. So now that it's done, I can get into the everyday swing of things now. Now my 2017 starts here. For some of you, you've made plans and something big like that might have happened, or it just could be you've intended to go to the gym and for one reason or another you've gone back into your old habits and it just hasn't happened. And you may be seeing everyone on Facebook or social media saying they're having a fantastic 2017 so far, everything's going to plan, everything's going better than planned. And for me, you can take it two ways. Something like that could be great because it could spur you on, or it can make you feel like, oh, what's wrong with me, or beat yourself up, or I failed already. Oh, bring on 2018, forget 2017. I've already broken my New Year's resolutions. But I'm here to tell you today that just because you haven't achieved what you have planned so far, tomorrow can be your New Year's Day. Tomorrow could be your first day of 2017. It's almost like, the reason I called it making a full start. Have you made a full start? It's like a sprinter, or a sprinter or an Olympic athlete, where they've gone to make a start. If you know anything about athletics, 100 meters, when the gun goes, then you start running. But sometimes you make a full start. You start sprinting before the starter goes. And nowadays in Olympics, once you've made one full start, you can't run that race. They've changed the rules over the last few years. It used to be 2 full starts, but you make a full start, you're out of the race. But our life doesn't have to be like that. So you may have not have made. Mr. McVeigh, how you doing, sir? I'm back in the UK. I need my lift on Thursday as usual, please. I work with Michael. So you may have made your full start. You may not have made the start that you wanted to make, but it doesn't mean you can't start again tomorrow. You could start again tonight. Don't beat yourself up because everyone else seems to be getting on and doing things, and we are humans. Yeah, things happen in life. It could be something like myself. It could be something else. If you're trying to change a habit as well, give yourself time. Unless you've got a massive reason. There's a quote I've come across really recently about making changes. We're either inspired to make change or we're desperate to make change. Usually one of those two things. So if you've never done running before, what have you, hey Chris, thank you for the welcome messages, and thank you all who've been texting me and that while I've been away. I have seen them, even though I may not have responded to all of them. And I just give God thanks that I'm back safe and sound. My family are well. Mrs. Shyman has held the fort tremendously, and the kids are all well. And yeah, life is good back here. So I'm still picking up my old habits here. This is a habit I've got changed, losing my train of thought. So habits, yeah, there it is. That's where I was. So you may have set a goal. You've never run anything before in your life, and this year you want to run the London Marathon, and as yet you haven't done anything. It's not impossible, but that's quite a big jump to go to. So maybe you just need to break it down. And I talked about this last week about making tweaks, just making small changes, and then scale it up. I came across an app while I was away, something called Habits. My brother Frank from America, how you doing, sir? About making small changes, making small tweaks, and then maybe I've come across an app. It's called Habits, and what it is, it's just a visual app which you can say, for example, from one I'm going to do is go on an exercise bike, and I'm just going to set it for once a week, and you can tick it to say you've done it once a week. And if you haven't done it in a week or whatever, you just tick it, and then you can get all kind of statistics like diagrams saying how much percentage you achieved and that. But it just gives you a visual reminder. Maybe you need to have someone run alongside you, as a metaphorical sense. Maybe you need to be accountable to one person. Maybe you're both making the same change together. So I've just come across it, Frank, this app. So I'm looking into it, and when you look at one app, there's 10 or 20 the same. It's just a great visual reminder to keep yourself on track. So just make those little tweaks rather than going for the massive go. There are some people who do things. My good friend Utam Maris, he was smoking cigarettes. Because of a certain circumstance, he just stopped, just like that. and God willing, he keeps on going with that. So it's not impossible, but in a lot of situations, you're sometimes setting yourself up to fail rather than making a one big giant leap when your habits, your subconscious mind is used to doing something one way. You need to just break it down, make small changes for a consistent period of time, and then scale it up, scale it up, scale it up. So 2017 is not over. Yeah, if you haven't achieved what you have so far, maybe look back, make a few tweaks. If not, just go again. Maybe get someone to help coach you or what have you, or maybe just start again. Just start again. New Year's Eve is quite a good time for people because you got the fireworks in Trafalgar Square and it's a calendar day. It's all very romantic. But what's the date tomorrow? Let's have a look. Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday. It's Wednesday the 18th. That could be your New Year's Day. If you want to get some fireworks, Trafalgar Square, make it feel like New Year, then go ahead. And that's what you need to do. But like I say, every day we got to give thanks for every day. That's why it's called the present, because it's a gift. So never take your current day for granted, and you can change things just like that or reset things just like that. So we're not an Olympic athlete. We don't make one full start and then we stop and then we're out of the race. You can still run your race now. And that's my message for you tonight. If you did watch my video last week when I was talking about tweaks and a couple of tweaks I'm going to make, one of them is to I want to condense these Facebook lives down. There's a guy called Jermaine Harris. He does like a 52-second self-motivational, and I've watched them and they're so powerful, and it's less than a minute. So sometimes less is more. So I'm gonna try and keep these down to 15 to 30 minutes, no more than that, because I value your time, and I can possibly just be effective in 15 minutes than I can be in 30 minutes, depending on the subject. And it's good for me to keep challenging myself as well. The other tweak I forgot to tell you guys about was I've recently started having a cold shower. It's something I listened to on a podcast about someone who did it, and again, my good friend Uttam recommended it as well. Try it. What I do is I have my unusual shower, then for about 30 seconds, I turn it right down to cold. And there's two reasons why I do it based on what Uttam in this podcast was telling. One is because it actually, the sensation of it actually wakes you up. It gets your blood circulation going. And for those of you who know me, who suffer with fatigue, that's really helpful for me. It really wakes me up in the morning. The other thing it does, if you want to look at it on a deeper level, it actually, I don't know anyone who likes having a cold shower. So there's that fear element of it, as well. So it's facing a fear like every day, and you know it's coming, but you still, if you try it, you'll know exactly what I mean. When it comes, you just feel like, and that's why I only do it for 30 seconds. You probably got people doing it for more. That's enough for me. You just feel yourself tensing up, but once it's done, you do refreshed. So I'll probably talk about this another time about fear actually, but because some people use the anagram, whatever, of false evidence appearing real, and I want to challenge that because fear is real, and what we need to do. There's a book called "Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway." So there's nothing wrong with feeling fear. A lot of the top people, most successful people feel fear. You may not think they do. A lot of the entertainment stars, they feel the fear, but they feel the fear and they do it anyway. Uttam says he dances with the fear, but you feel the fear. So there's nothing wrong with feeling the fear. That's human, but you do it in despite of the fear. And the most successful people would just keep on doing it. And then sometimes with some things, the more you do it, then the fear goes away. But that's for another time. So try it. Cold shower. It works. It does. So on that note, how long have I been speaking for? Oh, look at that. I'm under the 15-minute mark. Thank you, guys. Let's jump in some comments, and I'm going to try and keep this under 15 minutes. Start as you mean to go on. So I'm going to do my shout-outs again. Thank you, Jasmine, for joining. Jamie, Denise, Jody, Mr. McVeigh, Chris, Frank Sagasto, all the way from the US. Thank you, guys, for the comments. This one's a bit rough around the edges. I'm just come back. Prayer time will be back on Sunday after about 3 weeks away. Me praying on Facebook Live for you guys, privately or publicly. and bringing it before the God that I worship, Jesus Christ. And Caesar Wisdom will be back next Tuesday. We're going full mode. This year's going to be a big year for me, big plans. But I'm working with a coach. I've got an accountability group because I'm human, and I want to change some of the habits that prevented me in the past. So he's saying they'll start again. That's exactly what I want. Yes, Chris, that's exactly what I want. She's going to start again tomorrow. Who have you told about what you're going to start again tomorrow? Speak to one person and just tell them so they can hold you accountable. It's not to beat you down and say, oh, why have you done it? It's just to, sometimes we need someone. It's like going to the gym with someone. You don't want to let that person down, so you push past yourself. So on that note, Eddie, you always do this. My cousin Eddie, he always joins near the end. You got to watch this on the replay. And Raquel, I hope you've been watching this so far. So I'm under 16 minutes. I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much. The Shaman is back. I'm enthusiastic and the smile is coming. And I'll see you all guys soon. Take care. Bye.